Uh, Thanks everyone for joining. So as it is the first session, so we are going to see about how in this course we are going to learn about AWS data engineering services. Okay, what are the tools we are going to learn, and like what are the services in AWS we are going to learn. So we will have first introduction about like AWS data engineering and what is data engineering. We will discuss about how we are going to learn, and in this like training, how we are going to learn each of the use cases. We are going to learn one by one. Okay, is my voice clear to everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. If you don't hear my voice, the problem maybe with the internet connection, you can check on your side. I see a message in the chat, so you can check on your side. Okay. So, if you don't have AWS account, I'll tell you how to create it. We'll start one by one. First, so in the course, we are going to use multiple tools. Okay, so we are going to use multiple tools. So I'll use Notion. I'll use Notion for documentation. Okay, so I'll be using for every day. I'm going to share the contents. So I'll use PPT for presenting something, and I will use contents from Notions. And then I'll share this link. I'm going to share this link so you can go through and understand whatever we learned. Okay, so this you can see the contents, whatever we are going to learn today. So this end of the session, I'll be sharing it. And you can see the sign up URL for AWS. So I'll tell you how you can sign it up, and sign up URL for Snowflake. So for data warehouse system, we are going to use Snowflake. The sign up URL is here. So we will be using Notion for documentation, and for drawing everything, I'll use this tool for drawing, and I'll use web-based AWS console. Okay, so we need a AWS account to work on the lot of use case. You need AWS account, and local. I'll discuss about local setup. Okay, so like first let us start. So what is data engineering? Okay, so we'll start with what is data engineering. Before that, I see if you are joining it. Like, let us wait for a few minutes. So I think if you have not joined demo session, I'll tell a little bit about myself. My name is Vail Murugan. You can call me Vail. So I have 16 years of experience. So I have worked on big data systems. I have worked on different on-premises, cloud, different kind of data platforms. I have good experience on working on Databricks, AWS Cloud, Azure Cloud, and Snowflake. Okay, and I have worked on enterprise companies. I have worked on startups, like different product company. So at present, I'm working as a consultant for US company. So I work still, and I do training also. Okay, that's about myself. Okay, so let us get into the session. So today we are going to first see what, as a data engineer or in a data engineering platform, so for what we are working. So for what reason we are doing data engineering. Okay, so before that, we should know that in organization, so we are going to work for like a banking, insurance, or a retail, different clients, right? So I'm going to work for a different retail clients or a different banking client or insurance clients. So they have different kind of software. So if you are working for an enterprise, they have multiple software. Okay, they have their own web applications. They have their own enterprise application. Other than that, they use different kind of software. They use ERP system, okay, enterprise resource planning system. They use CRM system for sales, marketing. They use Salesforce CRM. They use marketing tools. They use different kind of application CMS, like different tools. So in organization, there are different teams. There are different business group like sales, marketing, HR, different teams. So each team uses different kind of software. Okay, they use different kind of software. So you collect all this data, and we were bringing the data into centralized layer, and we are going to use the data for different purpose, for different kind of analytics. So in organization, data analytics plays a major role. Data analytics plays a major role. So if you are new to IT, or if you are new to like working on data engineering, so first is like what is web application? So let us see what is web application. So web application. So you are working on you are using retail sites like Flipkart, Amazon. You are using Netflix. So all are web application, right? So they are in the cloud. The web application in this cloud. So in web application they have front end, they have back end. Okay, so the front end can be a front end application. It can be a JavaScript application. So this is a front end, and this is back end. So front end can be a JavaScript application. Okay, this can be accessed from web browser or mobile. The front end application can be accessed from different clients, web or mobile. They can access the front end application. The front end application, they have a web page where users can do a lot of operation. They can buy a product, sell a product. They can see videos. So this front end application talks to backend. So this backend application is there in the cloud. So this is there in the cloud. So this cloud can be AWS or it can be Azure. So it's there in the cloud. So this backend application can be built on Java, .NET. So a lot of programming language. You have Python. So the backend application can be different programming language. And this backend application internally can talk to database. It can talk to database. It can talk to server layers. So this you can say that database. So this can be your OLTP system. So what is OLTP? Online Transaction Processing Database. Okay, it's RDBMS. The RDBMS system can be MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle. So your web application stores permanently data here. So when I buy an item, my data is permanently stored here in the database. So you have other cloud systems, other cloud services, or other operations. Okay, so your backend system internally can talk to cloud. It internally can talk to different services in your organization. So this is how a simple web application. So this one, a software engineer or a front-end developer or a back-end engineer, normally they work. Okay, so how it is related to us? So this is a simple application where they store the data, transaction data. So this data are smaller records. You are storing smaller transaction here. Okay, so this data is called operational system. This web application is called operational system. Like this, in organization, there can be multiple applications. Like this, there can be 100 applications in organizations, or it can be 10 or 20 applications in organization. So they may have multiple web applications. So you collect data from all these applications and you build analytical system. Okay, so why we do analytics? So you are you are working for Flipkart or you are working for Amazon. So I have multiple customers buying a product. So I want to see which product is sold very faster, or which product is available frequently. So I can see which customers are buying frequently in particular region. So based on the customer usage, I have to take the data and do analysis. Okay, so I can do data analysis, data analytics. So that will improve my business. It will help business to take key decisions. So your analytics are going to help organizations. Data analytics is going to help organization in different things. It improves efficiency. It identifies new opportunities. It helps problem solving. It helps in decision making. Okay, so I can invest more. If my product is selling good, I can invest more. If my product is selling in a particular area, then I can concentrate on that area more. So if my product is selling good in UK, I can concentrate on selling more products in UK than other regions. So that is how, by doing data analytics, this is going to help business to identify a lot of opportunity, improve their operational efficiency. Okay, so this web application is an operational system. So you collect data from the operational systems, you store it into analytical database. So we have one centralized analytical database. So we collect data from various applications and we store it here, and then we do analytics from here. Okay, so like this web application, we collect data from different applications. So all are become sources for us. This is one source. So this web application is one data source for us. Where data is coming from web application. Like this in organization, you have multiple sources. You have multiple sources. So it can be web application, it can be enterprise system. So you have multiple data sources where data are coming in, and we are centralizing the data, and that data is used for various data products. Okay, so it's not only analytics, right? Different data products in organization, they have multiple data products. So what we do, we collect the data, we transform, we build a catalog, we build data catalogs, and we analyze the data, and we do predictions, we prescribe, like we do prescribe analytics. So we do multiple kind of analytics. Okay, so we do multiple analytics. So what are the type of analytics? Let us go and see that. So descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics, real-time analytics. So there are a lot of analytics. Okay, so it's not only, so if you see 10 years back, analytics were used as a dashboard. Okay, so you have a big dashboard where you monitor the sales, you monitor the systems usage. So you use dashboard for monitoring. So descriptive analytics there for 10 years back. So you make decisions from this reports, or you make decision from dashboard. So descriptive analytics, it shows you what happened. You are focusing on summary reports, you are focusing on historical data, and you are taking decisions. Diagnostic analytics, why did it happen? Okay, so we are identifying root cause. So why did the delivery go down? On a particular region, why the sales was down? So I can drill down into particular region and particular quarter, and then identify why did the sales go down. So I can do descriptive analytics, I can do diagnostic analytics, I can do predictive analytics. So predictive analytics, I collect 10 years of data. Okay, I have 10 years of data. So I can see the past historical data and predict the future by using machine learning algorithms. Seeing the past data, you can predict the future. Okay, it's like a pattern. You identify the pattern and you are predicting the future. So you for all this analytics, you need data. Okay, if you don't data, I cannot do all this analytics. It can be predictive analytics, it can be prescriptive analytics. Okay, prescriptive analytics is it's like a chat GPT, right? Your chat GPT AI machines, agents. So it's prescribing you what to do next. It's suggesting you, giving suggestion, and it's giving you options to do next. That is what prescriptive analytics. So this again, for prescriptive analytics also, you need historical data. You need historical data and current data. So your machine is able to use all this data and give you suggestions and give you strategies to optimize your outcomes. Okay, so prescriptive analytics is again a very good use case in the current scenario. Okay, so machine learning, AI, all these things are currently used heavily, and for all this thing, you need data. You need to store the data. So if I don't store the data, if I don't bring the data products, I cannot work on the data analytics. So you're centralizing the data, collecting the data, bringing it to the centralized system, and you are going to transform it. You are going to do data engineering activity. So in this layer, we are going to do data engineering so that my consumers can use the data product. My consumers can use the data product and they can do different kind of analytics. Okay, they can do different kind of analytics. So other than this, you have real-time analytics where I can monitor a truck, I can see the delivery of something, I can real-time, I can see a fraudulent activity. So using real-time analytics, I can see the analytics lively or like 10 minutes once or 15 minutes once for a lot of use case like cold storage, for supply chain, for logistics, These are a lot of use cases that there for real-time analytics. You have other than that, embedded analytics, argument analytics, self-service analytics. Okay, so argument analytics, you are automating, you are using event flows and automating the workflows. So you are going to automate it, AI-driven workflows, self-service analytics. So without having IT team, I am a business user. I can talk to my data and I can get the data. I don't need a SQL. I don't have to do SQL. I can talk to my data like chatting with your data models and you are doing analytics from that. That is what self-service analytics. So self-service analytics is again a very good use case in the current scenario. A lot of companies are working on this. A lot of organizations are already have built this self-service analytics. So this helps organization to faster decision making. So that the so you don't need a BAT. You can directly work on the data models here. You can work with the data models. So in real world, so there are multiple analytical systems. So as a data here, we are going to work, our data are going to be used by these teams. Okay, so even though you have different teams, so this we have business analyst who is working on this, we have business manager who is working on this, we have data science team who is working on this, we have generative AI teams or AI team who is working on this, we have like a streaming analytics team who is working on this. So we are going to work with them. So they are going to access our data and then they are going to, so we are going to collaborate with them and work. So can they do it by their own? Okay, so why can't they? So they were going to collect the data. So they're collecting data from the sources. And why can't they work on the data engineering? Why they need a separate team? Why they are dependent on us? Why can't they collect the data and they can build the data products and they can work on their analytical operations? Why they need a data engineering separately? Because in organization, there are 100 to 300 sources. So there are 100 to 300 data sources in a bigger enterprise. And this keeps growing. Okay, so like this one system, there are 100 systems. Okay, and this keeps growing with the organization doing merging with another, acquiring some organization. So this keeps growing. Okay, so you are working for a bank. The bank has merged a different bank, or they have acquired a different like smaller organization. So their data source will grow. So when they are going for merger acquisitions, the data sources will grow. So when they have multiple data source, the consumers cannot work on the data engineering. Okay, so here lot of effort is required. They need a separate team to manage because you are having 100 sources and you want to consolidate the data. You have to verify this data. You have to build a workflows and monitor. So this work become heavier. So this team, if they're going to do that work, then they cannot concentrate on building analytics. Okay, so their work they cannot do it. If they are going to do work on data engineering, then they cannot build machine learning models. They cannot work on their own use case. That is why in organization they have data engineering team where we do. So what we do multiple things. Okay, so we do ingestion. So I explained in the demo session. So we work on the data platform. So from different data source, we collect the data and we store it in a centralized place and we do data processing so consumers can use it. So we work on the data platform. We work on the data platform in the cloud. Okay, the cloud, it can be AWS or Azure. So you work on the data platform. So your data are stored in data lake or data warehouse and consumers are going to use it. Consumers are going to use it. So we are responsible for ingestion, storage, cataloging and processing. So as a data engineer, we work on the multiple layers here. So in the course, we are going to see one by one layer. We are going to see ingestion layer, storage layer, cataloging, processing, all this layer we are going to see. Okay. Okay. So we are going to work on the data platform. So our input are different sources. Our input are different sources. So do I need to understand all the sources? There are 100 to 300 sources. The sources can be OLTP system. Like it can be your MySQL, it can be SQL Server, or in AWS term, we can say that RDS. So RDS is a AWS services for relational database. Okay, so this can be OLTP is one source, or I have a ERP, SAP system. So this is my one source. Okay, this is my one source. So in all the company for resource planning, for enterprise resource planning, they use SAP, they use Oracle, they use Microsoft product. So this can be one of the source. So like this organization have 100 sources. So I don't have to get into each of the source. I don't have to get into each of the source and understand in detail about all the sources. Okay. So here it can be OLTP can be like NoSQL also. It can be like DynamoDB, MongoDB. Okay, so ERP can be one source, Salesforce can be another source. Your REST API in organization, they have REST API, that can be one source. Like that, you have 100 sources. We are going to collect the sources, data from the sources. This become upstream for us. This become upstream systems. So you don't have to get into the system detail. So do you need to understand SAP? I don't have to understand. Do I need to understand Salesforce? I don't have to understand. For me, whatever data is coming from this system is important to us, for me. So this data comes in CSV form. Let us say the data is coming in CSV. That is important too. I don't have to understand SAP here. I have to understand data, where it is coming. How can I process the data? Okay, that is what I have to understand. So the data is stored in MySQL. The data is stored in MySQL. So I have a web application, and that web application is operational system, and that application is stored in my MySQL. So I don't have to understand this web application. So I can ignore this web application. I'm going to use this data. Okay, so I'm going to use the data. I should get into the database and understand the database. Okay, I'm going to read the table and use the data. So like this, from the 100 sources, you are going to collect the data in various ways, and then you are going to store it and then transform it and then give it to consumers. Okay, so we are going to store the data, transform it, and then give it to consumers in the data platform. Okay, so we are going to build the data platform. So we are going to collect the data. So you can see here OLTP system, SaaS applications, ERP, CRM, so social media data, so different data sources. We're going to collect it, store it into different systems, data lake or data warehouse, and then give it to consumers. So that is what we are going to do. So we need to have understanding about database. So we need to have understanding about various storage systems. Okay, various storage system, database, data warehouse, data mart, and data lake. So in enterprise, as a data engineer, we work on all the storage system. So we need to know clearly on this. We need to have a clear understanding about this. Okay, your database, it can be MySQL, it can be Oracle SQL Server. So why we are going for data warehouse? Why we are going for data warehouse? Your database is not scalable. Okay, the biggest problem with your database is scalability. It cannot scale for large volume of data. So that is why we are going for data warehouse. Data warehouse, you can store large amount of data. So using data warehouse, I can store large amount of data and you can run your analytics queries here. Okay, so that is why you use data warehouse. Data lake, so you can store any type of data. Okay, I can in the data warehouse. So data warehouse, let us say, I'm using Snowflake, I'm using Redshift, so I'm using data warehouse. I'm using Snowflake. So I'm using Snowflake, Redshift, or BigQuery, Azure Synapse Analytics. So all these things are data warehouse systems. And Databricks has their own data warehouse system. Okay, so all the system, you are going to create table format. You are going to create table format and store it. Whereas in my use cases, in real world use cases, I am going to have other data also. I may have semi-structured data. I may have unstructured data. So you can go for data lake where I can store different type of data. Okay, in data lake, I can store any type of data. So that is why in organization, we use data warehouse also, we have database also, we have data lake also. So we'll see about all this thing one by one. We are going to use database as a source, data warehouse as a target system, data lake as a target system. So we are going to use ETL tools and read and write, and we are going to perform a lot of operations. Okay, so we are going to do. So in AWS, using AWS services, we are going to do these operations, different operations, database operations, data warehouse operation, data lake operations. Okay, we are going to do one by one. Okay, so in a data platform, we have discussed about data platform. So using AWS services, we are going to build a data platform. Okay, so using AWS services, we are going to build a data platform. So that we are going to cover about AWS services, which are very frequently used in organizations, like Glue, Athena. We are going to use S3 for storage. We are going to use Athena for query engine. We are going to use Glue for batch processing ETL stuff, and we are going to use Lambda, Event Bridge for event-driven approaches. Processing we are going to use one by. Okay, so first let us get into. Okay, so we have seen type of analytics. We have seen about consumers. Who are the consumers we are going to work with? Okay, so in this course, so this is like more of the course is designed more of like a bootcamp way, not in a normal training mode. Okay, so this course it's designed in a jobs ready skills here. Okay, so in organization, if you are entering into organization, how the training would be. Okay, if you are joining organization, they don't sit ask you give time. They don't allow you to work on like concepts. They don't allow you to work on the training for 6 months, right? They make you ready in 1 month. Okay, if you join organization, even if you're a fresher, if you join an enterprise, they will make you ready in 1 month or 2 months. How they make it? Because they give you real-time working examples. Okay, they don't teach syntax, they don't teach concepts. So they take you into live projects. They give you live projects and they show demos on that, and they teach about the live project. For using live project, what are the concept you should know? Okay, so based on the live project, for that, what are the concept you should know? Okay, like that is how we are going to learn here in the boot camp. So in this course, we are not going to learn syntax by syntax, or we are not going to take on one service, go in depth, right? So for building a project, for building a application, what is required? So for example, if I go to S3, so S3 is a data lake. Okay, so S3 is a data lake where I can create buckets. I can store data. Okay, so here I can create buckets. You can see you can create a bucket. Bucket is nothing but it's a folder. Your S3 is like a drive, right? It's like a Google Drive where you can store large amount of data. Okay, so like your Google Drive, where you can store a lot of data, right? But your S3 is very cheaper. For enterprise to store large amount of data, you can use S3. It's a data lake where I can create a bucket and I can store any kind of data. I can create a folders. I can upload any type of data. So I can upload jar files. I can upload CSV files. I can upload video files, audio files, any type of data I can upload. Okay, so from UI I can do it. So for example, so you can see here, I will go into data. I can upload any file from local. I can drag and drop. I can upload PDF files. I can upload any type of data into S3. So for example, I'm uploading a PDF file. So you can see PDF files there. So like this in S3, I can store any type of data. That is the main purpose of S3. Okay. But there are a lot of things about S3. Like if you go to properties, so you can see here left side, there are multiple things. So if you are going to spend on each of this time, is like all these ones. So if you're going to learn what is directory bucket, table bucket, vector bucket, so this is like you don't have to get that deeper because we are not going to use. So we are not going to use lot of things here. For us, we want to store some data. For that, I need to know how to create bucket, how to store the data, how to give permissions, how I can give permission for different users. Like that basic thing is enough. You don't have to get into advanced level. So that is how we are going to learn on lot of service. We are not going to get detail into all this internally about all the services. So for building a project, for building a enterprise application, what is required? For that, what we have to learn. That is how the training is going to be. We are not going to see syntax. So we will be seeing some important syntax. I will not spend a lot of time. We will go quickly. Okay, we are not going to see concepts, theoretical documentation. We are not going to spend a lot of time on that. I'll explain few of the things, the important ones, but we are not going to see line by line. We are not going to see the code. Okay, that is how we are going to build. So we are going to build pipelines. We are going to build like application here. We are going to run a ETL. We are going to work on that. So that we will have hands-on here. By doing this, you will get a good experience because I am going to share the code. I'm going to share the data. So you can practice with me. So as I'm showing the entire one, you can practice it. So you will get good hands-on. You will get experience. So you have to practice it. Also, you have to spend enough time in practicing. So if you just watch the video, you are not going to understand. You have to take it and try it. So when you try it, initially you are going to face difficulty. But if you when you are trying it, if you are getting stuck, I'll be helping you. You can reach me out in WhatsApp. I'll be helping you step by step, so you can resolve the problem, so you will learn it also. Okay, so we are going to build application. We are going to build step by step. So let us see in the previous session. Let me show the previous course, or let me show you the morning course. So that will give you a good idea how we are going to learn each sections. So first, you can see I'm starting with introduction to AWS services. Okay, so I'm starting with, so if you are someone new, you will learn basic core services. Okay, we will learn the basic services like IAM and S3. So we are starting with basic, then basics about Spark. We are learning about S3 and Spark and a local setup. And we are learning about RDS, DynamoDB, Glue. Okay, so we are learning the basic thing and we are getting into the project in day 11. Okay, so day 11, we are getting into project. So for this project, we are learning all the basic element. Okay, so if you don't learn all the basic element, it will be difficult for you to work on the project. So like if you go straight away into class 11, and if you see this video, lot of things you will not know because we have learned the basics here. We have learned about Spark. We have learned about Glue here. We have learned about connecting to RDS here, connecting to RDS, connecting to VPC. We have learned about Terraform, how to build Terraform here. So we learned about all these things. Then only you are going for project. So if you straight away go to project, you are not going to understand because everything is interlinked here. So we are covering the basics. Then we are going to project. That's how we are going to do. Again, you can see some advanced one. So after completing the project one, I'm starting with Airflow. I'm starting with step function. So when we are going to event bridge, Lambda, step function, data warehouse, lakehouse architecture, okay, then we are building the second project because in second project, we are using data warehouse. We are using lakehouse architecture. So we are learning basics about this. We are learning, spending time on the basics. Then we are getting into the project. So if you straight away get into the project and you try to learn the project, you are not going to understand. So you need the basic thing. So you need to watch the previous sessions. Then only you'll understand the project. Then only you can try the projects. Okay. Okay. So this is how we are going to learn. So it's a more of a boot camp. It's a boot camp way of learning, not a normal training session where we are learning documentation, concept, syntax, basic thing, right? We are not learning basic. We are working on solutions. We are building a solutions and we are executing it and learning. So you get more work experience. You get practical experience by trying it out. Okay. So if you are from different background, so for example, if you are from different background, so you need to spend enough time on the basics. Okay, so you need to know Python. If you are not sure about Python, you can learn it, because in next few sessions, tomorrow we will start on AWS. So we are going to start with AWS basics on the cloud. We are going to start on IM and S3. So we will see how to create bucket, how to load the data into bucket, how to set up the local environment. So initial sessions are going to be on the cloud, working on the cloud, basics about cloud. So you will have enough time. So you can prepare on Python basics before starting Spark. Okay, so before starting Spark, you need to have basic knowledge on Python. Okay, so if you don't have Python knowledge, you can learn Python, because for Spark you need Python, for Lambda we use Python, okay, and Airflow we use Python. So data engineering, in data engineering we use Python heavily. So you need to have basic knowledge. You don't need to write complex code. We are not going to write complex code. It's a simple code. We are going to write some reusable logic. You can learn it quickly. Okay, so if you know the basics, you can learn it quickly. Okay, so if you have any questions in the sessions, you can post it in the chat. If it is relevant to the current discussion, I will explain it immediately. Or if it is something you want to ask, you can wait for the end of session. Last 15 minutes, you will have Q&A. I'll explain about your questions in the last 15 minutes. Okay. Okay, so next thing is local setup. Okay, so for this course, we are going to use AWS, right? So AWS, and we are going to use Snowflake. So both you need a account. Okay, so with Snowflake, it's very easier, where you are going to use Snowflake student account. So if you click on this link, you can see trial account. So you get 120 days free trial account. So 120 days, you can use Snowflake by using your Gmail. You can use it. So Snowflake is completely free if you use trial version. So you will not be charged. So you get $400 credit. So if you log in with this trial account, you get 120 days free account. So for Snowflake, the charges are zero. But AWS, so AWS, let us go to AWS sign up. So AWS, we are going to go for free tier. Okay, so you'll subscribe for free tier. So you can see try AWS for 6 months. So you get credits. The problem is what we see is, so AWS provide free tier services. So in free tier, they provide S3, they provide RDS, different services, Lambda, step function. They provide different services free. Glue is not free. Okay, so Glue is a ETL tool. So Glue we use for running Spark. Okay, so if you want to run Spark, you will use Glue. So if you are someone who is from ETL background, has worked on ETL tools, so at present, Spark is a major tool which is used across all the organization, because of its data source capability. Okay, it can access the data from different system. So Spark is a Python or Scala based programming language. So it's not a UI drag and drop tool. You have to write Python code. Okay, so here you are going to write scripts. You can see Spark scripts. You can write scripts and do ETL processing. So I'm going to use Spark, and then I'm going to do ETL. So Spark, you can run it on different cluster framework. So Spark can run it on different cluster framework. You can use, so you can use Databricks. You can use Microsoft Fabric. You can use Glue. Okay, so Spark, you can run it on multiple cluster framework. So if you learn Spark, if you are learning PySpark, you can run it on Glue. You can run it on Databricks. You can run it on Azure Synapse Analytics. You can run it on Fabrics or AWS EMR. Okay, Spark, you can run it on multiple things. So in the course, we are going to learn Spark, but Glue, for running Spark, Glue is not free. Okay, Glue is not free. So here I can scale it up. I can run 10 workers. I can choose powerful machines. So you are using VMs. You are using powerful VMs. So AWS doesn't provide Glue as a free service. So they are providing as a paid service. So for using Glue, you have to pay. So instead of that, we will set up in local. So in the local, you can run Spark using Jupyter Notebook. So I'll tell you how we can set it up, how we can run Spark here and learn Spark in local. So instead of using cloud, you can learn Spark in the local. So I can read the data from S3. So for example, if I go to, I can read it from RDS. I can read from RDS, write it to RDS from here. I can read from S3, write it from here. So I can do my development. I can do development here. I can work on the projects. I can work on the different ETL pipelines in local node. So we are going to use local Jupyter Notebook for development. And then also you can use Glue. So we have two options. We have multiple options. So you can run Spark on local using Jupyter Notebook, or you can run it on Glue. Okay, so AWS Cloud, we are going to use free tier account, and here I will tell you how to monitor the cost. So I can use Cost Explorer. So in Cost Explorer, you can monitor last 1 day what was the utilization, last 7 day what was the utilization. So for example, last 1 day, so past 1 day, I'll see what are the services are used for what I'm charged. So you can see here, I'm charged for S3 because I'm not part of free tier. My free tier is exhausted. So I've been charged for S3. So for past 1 day, I've been charged only for S3. For past 7 days, let us see for past 7 days. For past 7 days, I've been charged for Glue. I've been charged for S3. So this is how you can use Cost Explorer and monitor your cloud cost. So I'll be showing this again and again because normally students tend to commit mistakes. They will create resources. That means when we are learning RDS, okay, so when you are learning RDS, you create database, you create MySQL, and you will forget to delete. If you forgot to delete, your free tier will exhausted and they will charge you. Okay, or RDS uses VPC. So I'll tell about all this thing. VPC, I'll tell you, explain in detail. So if you use VPC, they will charge you. So free tier account, how you can efficiently use it, I will tell you. Okay. So if you are new to AWS Cloud, first step is creating the account. Okay, so creating your free tier account. So I'm going to share the URL. So the URL. So you are going to sign up. So you need a credit card. They may charge you $1. Okay, they are going to charge you $1 for validation, and then they will return the $1. So here it's in AWS, even though you log in with your credit card, they are not going to charge you. Okay, you have to do monthly payment. At the month end, your bills will be generated. You have to pay the bill. Okay, so if you don't pay the bill, they will stop your service. They will stop your login. You cannot log into the system. They are not going to automatically take it from credit card. Okay, so even though you are logging with credit card, they are not going to take it from your credit card. So you will pay it at the month. So that is how AWS charges are paid in the month. Okay. So next step is you are going to sign up for AWS. You are going to sign up for Snowflake and then local setup. So in your local, we are going to use Visual Studio Code. We are going to use Visual Studio Code. So you have to install Visual Studio. You have to download Visual Studio and install it. Okay, so the steps are here. I'm going to share this link today. So you can download it, install it, and you have to download AWS CLI, install AWS CLI. Okay, so to verify that, I'll show how to verify. So you're going to download AWS CLI, install it. Okay, and then you are going to download, install Python. If you don't have Python, you can install Python. So the URL is here. You can see the URL. So you can click on the URL, download it, and install it. Okay, you are going to install Docker desktop. So I'll tell why Docker, what is the purpose of Docker, but you can start working on the installation step. So you are going to install Docker desktop. You are going to install DBViewer. Okay, so we are going to install DBViewer and Terraform. So we have Terraform. So we are going to install Terraform. So all this software, you can start one by one. So if you have issue, you are going to reach me out. You are going to start one by one the installation. So let me go and then I'll show it quickly. So I already have installed Visual Studio Code. So let me open my Visual Studio Code. So if you are someone using Mac, I'll share the installation steps for Mac. Okay, so I have the separate URL. I'll share it for Mac. So first step is installing Visual Studio. After installation of Visual Studio, we need to verify if Python is installed, if AWS CL is installed. So let us do that. So I can go to my local. So you can see here in my local, I create folders in C drive, dev folder I'm created, and then I can create a new folder, AWS November. So I'm creating a new folder, and this folder I can open from Visual Studio. Okay, and then I can go to terminal. So new terminal. And here I am going to verify if the installation is done. Okay, so after doing installation, so installation is you are going to download one by one. So for example, AWS CLI, you have the URL here. You click on the URL, you will download the exe. So you have the exe here. You can see the exe. So you will download this exe. After installation, you can come here to AWS version. So if installation is successful, it will show the AWS CLI version. Okay. So for that, so in your system, you should install the AWS CLI. So you can see the expected output. In the expected output, you should get this. Okay, next step, Python. So Python. So if I have to download this Python exe, install it, then expected output. So if I type Python, you can do Python version. So I'm using 3.12. So you can use any version. So you can download Python. So you can see the exe is here. You can download and install it in your local. So and check the version if it is installed properly. Okay, that you can check for Python. Docker desktop. So install Docker desktop, download from this URL. Docker desktop. And during download and installation, it will ask you to enable WSL2. Okay, so you can enable this. Okay, why Docker here? Because I'm going to run my Jupyter notebook using Docker. My Jupyter notebook is it's running on AWS glue container. Okay, so my like Jupyter notebook is running on a Docker container that I'm going to run it on Docker desktop. Okay, so we will see that in detail. I'm going to explain that in detail. So why we are going for Docker. So we'll do the installation. Then I will explain in detail about the installations, how we are going to do it. So we are going to download this exe, install it. So once I install Docker desktop, then I can go and here search here Docker desktop. So in the terminal, you can type Docker version. So you should see Docker version. So after the installation, you should see this. Okay, and in the UI, if you start the Docker desktop, so you will see like this, something like this. Okay, where it will show empty containers. So it will show empty containers. So later we are going to work on the containers. So this is how the Docker desktop will be. So you should enable the Docker desktop and dbviewer. So dbviewer is a client tool. So we use dbviewer. So let me show the dbviewer. So dbviewer, you can download community version. So it's all this exe we are using here are community version. So it's not everything are community version. Nothing is paid version. Okay, so Docker desktop you have installed, then dbviewer. So DBviewer, let me open the DBviewer. So this is the DBviewer. So using DBviewer, I can connect to different RDBMS system. Okay, it's a client tool. So like your old SQL client tools. So this is a SQL client tool where using this, I can connect to multiple database. It can be MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle, Postgres. So I can connect to multiple database. It supports different database. So I can connect to AWS database services. I can connect to RDS, MySQL, or I can connect to SQL Server. So I can connect from my local. I can connect to database. I can see the data. I can write SQL. So this OLTP system, to connect to OLTP system, to validate, you can use DBviewer. So for example, if you see here, I can see the database. I can see the tables. I can see the data. You can also write queries. Okay, again, write queries here in the SQL editor. So DBviewer is a client tool. You can install it for connecting to your OLTP system and verifying it. Okay, so that you are going to install DBviewer, and so this step you can skip it. You will see this later. So how to run MySQL in local? You can skip it for now. Let us do it later. Next step is installing Terraform. So in your local, we are going to download Terraform. Okay, download the Windows version of Terraform and you are going to install it. So after doing installation, you will go to your environment variables. So in the Windows, we'll search for environment variables. Okay, you can see the instruction here clear here. So you are downloaded. After downloading, you will unzip the Terraform in your directory. So you will go to C dev. So let me go and check where I have installed. So I can go to environment variables. So you can see, go to system path, start, environment variables. So you can just go and type your environment variables. So if you type environment variables, you will see this option coming in. So here I can go to path, edit it. Okay, so I can see my Terraform. You can see here. So this is my Terraform location. So you can see Terraform is here. The Terraform exe is here. So you have to download the Terraform, unzip it here, and this path, you will add it to your environment variable to the path variable. So in the path variable, you will edit it, you will do new and add this Terraform path. So if you are doing this step, can give OK and apply it. Then you can go to Visual Studio Code, type Terraform hyphen version. Okay, so this is how you can verify all the softwares are installed properly. So you can see Terraform version 12.2 is installed. So this is how you can verify. So you can start doing step by step. And if you have issue, you can reach me in WhatsApp. Okay, so I'm going to help you for the installation. So like you have like till weekend, right? So you can do it on weekend. So we are going to start these steps from next week. Okay, so you have enough time. So you can do it on weekend. So you can set up your all the installation by weekend. Okay. So these are the local setup we needed to start. So why we are using different tools? Okay, so why we are using different tools? Because in real world for data engineering, you use different tools. You are not as a software engineer or a backend developer. Normally a software engineer works on JavaScript application, or a backend developer works on Java, or they work on some stack. But as a data engineer, we work on multiple tools. Okay, so we need to know how to access different data, how to connect to different systems. So we need to know multiple things. Okay, so these tools are going to help us to work on ETL system, do automation, do development easier. So this tools is going to help us in doing the development easier. So instead of working on the cloud directly, we can do ETL on local. We can build a lot of things on local. So we will not be charged in the cloud. So by using this, we will not be charged in the cloud. So for a few of the things like Lambda, step function, even bridge, which are cheaper, S3, we will learn directly in the cloud. Which are cheaper, we can learn directly in the cloud, and which are costlier, we will learn it on local. That is what we are going to learn in the course. Okay, so these are the installation setup which is required. Okay, so from tomorrow, we are going to start with basic AWS services. Okay, so we are going to learn about IAM, we are going to learn about S3, and we will learn about each of the service. So what is this each service, for what purpose we use? So what is the purpose of S3, where it is used? What is the purpose of IAM, where it is used? Like that, we are going to start one by one, and we are going to learn all this service. So initially, for the project one, we are going to focus on like we have multiple workflows. So we have multiple workflows. So in the project one, so let me tell it here itself. So it's easier for everyone to understand. So in the project one and project two. So this project one, project two, and then project three. So we are going to work on 3 projects. So in the project one, we will learn basic flows. Okay, so basic flow used in enterprise. So basic flow in enterprise. So here we will learn about S3. We will learn about glue with Spark, and we will use CSV, Parquet, JSON. Okay, we'll learn different file formats. Okay, and then we use glue for Spark. So in Spark we write CTEs, window functions. So we use SQL and we use data frame. Python, we use Python and data frame both. So we learn all the basic flows here. So and also we will learn Athena for validation, SQL validation. Okay, and then we use Terraform for the automation. Okay, automation, and we use GitHub for CI/CD. So this first project, we learn the basic flow. So in the enterprise, how we learn the basic flow. And the second project, we are doing full load. We are learning about bulk load. So we use data lake. Here we are going to use data warehouse. We use lakehouse. Okay, so we are going to use data warehouse, lakehouse. So here we are going to do incremental processing. So we learn about bookmarking, glue bookmarking, and watermarking. Okay, and then so here we learn about, so as we are using lakehouse, data warehouse, we learn about fact tables, dimension tables, star schema. So this is dimensional modeling. So we learn about dimensional modeling on the lakehouse and data warehouse. So we learn about SCD type 2. And also we learn about event driven flows, file arrival processing. So we use, and then we use Lambda for schema validation. And SNS for notification, SNS, SES for notification. Notification, we use it. And we use step function. So we use step function for orchestration and monitoring. Okay, so here we use again step function and also ARP for orchestration. So this is how we are going to learn. So here you learn the basic flow. You learn the basic flow and the basic project you learn. So in my previous batch, like one person who worked on the project one, who learned project one, after completing the course, he joined the organization. He went into the same kind of environment. Okay, so they put him into the project where he worked on the same framework. Okay, so that is how the projects are. So if you learn it here, you may use lot of things in the real world. So this projects, everything are related to the real world data platforms. So it's easier for you to adapt easily with the organizations. So if you learn this, so you need to practice it. Even though I'm going to teach it one by one, you need to practice it. Only you will get a good understanding. So this is how we are learning the bulk load, and then we are incremental processing, the advanced flow. So this project 2 is advanced flow. We are learning about a lot of advanced concepts here. And project 3 is a streaming pipeline. We are building a streaming pipeline. We are covering streaming project here. And we use SQL procedures, Snowflake, Snowflake streams, and we use Kafka Kinesis and work on the real time, and we use a dashboard for visualizing it. Okay, so this is how we are going to do 3 projects in the course. So we are going to start with the basic flow, then we'll get into advanced flow, then we'll cover the streaming flow. So these are the ways we are going to work on the 3 projects. So like first for the basic flow, what is required? We are going to start one by one. So in the basic flow, we are using S3, we are using IM, we are using Spark, we are using Athena. So we will learn one by one and we will work on the projects. That is how we are going to do. Okay, now we will stop it here. Now you can ask your questions. Okay, so we will stop the thing. If you have questions, now you can ask from your side. So you can ask any questions from your side.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have one doubt. Are we going to use Glue in our upcoming projects or just Jupyter? That
We
can
will use both. We will
we
use
will
both.
both.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for you, I am going to
Mhm.
show it both. So for you, whatever is comfortable, you can do it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to show both. I'll run it on Jupyter Notebook. For
Mhm.
example, if you see here, you can see I'm running all the projects in Jupyter Notebook. So I'll run it on Glue also. So the already for the morning batch. So a lot of
Okay.
things are completed. So I can show that quickly.
Hi, sir. Anil this side.
Yeah.
Yeah, for project two, you did not mention AWS Redshift. So are we covering that or we don't have any plan for the Redshift? I mean, when you were
So
discussing about data warehouse, lake house, you
yeah.
did not mention AWS Redshift anywhere.
Yeah, so we will see a little bit about basics about Redshift. Okay, but in the project, we are going to use Snowflake. Okay, so because Snowflake is a number one data warehouse system and it has a lot of advanced feature than Redshift. That is the one. Okay, in real world, lot of company use Snowflake than Redshift. That is why we are choosing it. Other thing is Redshift is costly to use in cloud. So if you start the server and if you're going to use it, your cloud charges are going to be higher. But Snowflake is free and we are going to have it for 120 days. So for my development, for my project, it's easier to use Snowflake. And if you learn it on Snowflake, it's easier to work on Redshift. Okay. So I'm going to show some like how to start Redshift, how to create Redshift, how to load data into Redshift, some basic stuff that I will show it separately, but in the project we are going to use Snowflake. as a data warehouse, we are going to use Snowflake.
So actually the thing is, I was thinking to write the exam AWS for data engineering associate, and I might require that information as well. I mean, the complete services, AWS services, everything. So uh, you're getting me, sir? Are you able to listen me?
You like for AWS data engineering exam, we are covering most of the 70 to 80% of services. Okay, Redshift, we are covering basics, but we are not going in depth.
Okay, got it, sir.
Okay. You have to prepare on the missing services, you have to prepare. So this course, we are whatever is in the company, whatever the AWS service we use frequently, that is what we are covering here. Okay, so what we use very frequently, we are covering it here with the project. But for the certification, they have like 30 plus services. If you go to the certification, you have to prepare for 30 plus services. In that, we are covering the major services. Like we are covering S3, we are covering Glue, EMR, we are covering about basics on Redshift, we are covering Athena, Lambda. So all this thing we are covering. Step function, even SNS, SQS, all this thing we are covering.
Yeah, got
Other
it.
than that, you have few services like which are you have to learn few things on your own.
Yeah, got it, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Will. This is Diwakar.
Yeah.
So I'm from the ETL background.
Yeah.
Um, so like data engineering is all about loading the data into the tables, or it's also does like integration of applications. For example, if I'm trying to, I mean, which I can achieve through ETL, like Informatica Cloud, right, where
Yeah. So with the old tools, right? So you do it from UI. Here we write code, we write simple codes, and then we do it from code. So data comes in from different systems. The data comes in CSV file, they comes in JSON files into data lake. So we take it from data
yeah.
lake and then we
Mhm.
process it by writing scripts. Okay, and the advantage here is you have high scalability here. With the compared to old tools, I can process terabytes of data. I can easily run it on cloud. So I can create the infrastructure easily. I can process huge amount of data. That is the advantage we have by using the cluster framework, by using ETL tools here. We use Spark as a ETL tool. We use the Glue and cluster framework. So we can scale it up to a large extent. That is the advantage here.
So my question is like, if there is a scenario where an SAP system is generating some data in a JSON format, and I want to update in a Salesforce, is it like can be done through data engineering? Like I mean, like these tools.
So if you want to do it as a bulk, you can do it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
Okay,
like
so if you
I
want
want
to
to
do it as a bulk,
iteratively loop it and load it. Like
yeah.
for example, something happened in Salesforce, and I want to sync it to the SAP or a different system, a Workday, something like that. So can we do it in data engineering?
Yeah, if you want to do it as a bulk, you can do it. So you can connect
Mm-hmm.
to SAP, get the data, and then write it to Salesforce. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
that system should accept here large amount of data. Okay, so the problem is Salesforce, you
Mm-hmm.
can write it, but you cannot write it as a bulk. You can write it as a transaction. Salesforce is say a SaaS product where you can use REST API and write it as a transaction. You cannot write it as a bulk.
No. Yeah, we can do bulk, but I don't know about data engineering.
So the
And
problem is
especially
you are
in tools.
reading from ERP. So from ERP, I'm getting bulk data, 10 million data.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so that data, 10 million data, I cannot write it directly to Salesforce. Okay, so I can take it as a chunks. I can write it as a
Mm-hmm.
small transaction into Salesforce because Salesforce does not accept in bulk format. It accepts only in transactions. But we can do
Okay.
it using REST APIs. You can use the cloud, you can do it.
Okay. And are we focusing on the volume
But
of the data, like
yeah.
more records, like 10, 20, 30 million or more than that?
Yeah, we are focusing about volume here because we are working on data platform. We are trying to build a data platform So for organization, so there are multiple sources. So from all the source, we are collecting it and storing into centralized data warehouse. So I can use it for analytics. So we are storing large amount of data and running SQL on top of that. So we are more focused on bringing centralized data, and then we are writing SQL on top of that to can be used for multiple use cases. That is where we are focused.
So it's both of ELT and ETL methods we are going to do?
Yeah, we are going to use both ETL
Okay.
and ELT both.
Okay. Thank you.
So with the glue, we are going to do ETL. With the data lake and glue, we are going to do ETL. With data warehouse, we are going to do ELT. We'll bring the data into data warehouse and then we'll do transformations. We will do ELT.
Thank you.
So any questions from anyone? So you can see this some ETLs here for the project specific. I have created here and then ran. I have shown it. So for in the glue, I'm running it on the glue. So same thing, I can run it on local. So we can run the ETL jobs in the local. You can run it on glue. So I'll be showing both. So you can try it on the cloud or you can try it on local. Okay, any questions from anyone? Okay, so if you don't have questions, you can stop for the day and then we will connect again tomorrow. So I'm going to share the videos and I'm going to share this Notion link. So you can start working on the setup. You can start setting up the environments. Okay, so the other thing is, let me quickly bring that one here. So here in the course, we are trying to work on AWS data engineering. So if you are someone junior, 2 to 4 years of experience, or if you are a senior person, you are about 4 to 8 years of experience. Okay, so for both, we are trying to cover all the topics. Okay, so if you have 2 to 4 years of experience, you need to know what is ETL, what is ELT, what is data lake, data warehouse, and use like AWS services like S3, RDS, DynamoDB, Glue, Athena, and do ETL, data processing using Glue, data movement between different systems, data warehouse and data lake concept, data warehouse concept. So monitoring. So as a junior person, you should have understanding about all this thing. Okay, we are trying to cover all this thing. And if you are a senior person, you are more focused on architecture, integration, you are more focused about optimization, performance tuning. So for senior, you are more into architectural thinking, system design, about advance of data engineering, like building a event-driven pipelines, dynamic pipelines, parameterization, building optimizations, tuning the workflows, cloud cost optimization. So you will be focusing on this error handling mechanism, data quality, auditing, security compliance, data modeling, CI/CD pipeline. Okay, so both we are going to cover. Okay, so initially in the first project we are going to cover on basics, and in the second project we'll cover an advanced section. So that is how we'll cover both. So this checklist, right? So this checklist also I'll share. So this will help you to make yourself ready to prepare all the sections. So we are going to cover most of the things. So you will be prepared on all this thing. Okay, this is the checklist which I will share it later. Okay. So we'll stop it here. Any questions from anyone? Okay, if there is no questions, we'll connect again tomorrow. I'll share the course content and then video in the WhatsApp group. Okay, you can access that and you can watch the recording and access the installation steps. Thanks everyone. We'll connect again tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Bye.